Welcome to the Roanoke Real Estate Podcast with your host and realtor, the Fraser Hughes Experience. And do not forget to Hughes it or lose it.
Hi, I'm Fraser Hughes, your host of the Roanoke Real Estate Podcast. You can follow me on Instagram right now at Hughes or Lose. And then the podcast has a brand new Instagram page too, which is catching fire, the Roanoke Real Estate Podcast. All you have to do is search that. And then I'm on Facebook, the Fraser Hughes Experience, or just Google my name and all of the pages of Google, the first 3 or 4 pages will explode in your face like a firecracker. First and foremost, I've got these allergies right now that are just affecting my voice. I mean, normally my voice is a little bit crisper and a little bit clear, but I'm not sure if any of you are being affected by allergies. You know, the doctor is like, well, why don't you go ahead and take this Claritin or whatever the heck they call it, the other medicine, Zyrquex or whatever, and I feel like a fruitcake. I feel suicidal when I take these meds, so I don't take anything for it. I drink tea and I exercise. Today's topic in real estate is I'm going to give you some tips on selling your home. On our first episode, we talked about the basics of buying and selling your home, some things that you really don't think about. But here are some tips when it comes to selling your home. Let's go. Okay, now here are the tips when it comes to selling your home, and I can direct you on how to stage the home, good pictures, and get the best bang for your buck. I just set a record for the highest amount awarded to a home, the highest home sale in Southeast Roanoke, which is absolutely crazy. But this house went for $156,500, and no other home can touch it or has sold for the most. I drove around the neighborhood, looked at the comps, and got together with the seller, and we came up with the price, and wow, it flew off the shelf. In fact, I had a full offer within 4 hours, sight unseen. Now, I'm going to help you sell your home. I'm going to give you these tips, and as your realtor, I'm also going to get you results as well. So the first thing that you want to think about is your emotional attachment to your home. That is one big thing that's going to take place is that, hey, we've had so many memories here. This is the children's room. It's really hard to let it go. In fact, when it comes to real estate, you'll notice that people will have their home left to them. And they'll be, so say the parents will pass away and they'll leave it to the son or the daughter, and they can't afford to fix it up, but they're so emotionally attached to it, they hang on to it and just let it fall apart. So you've got to really work through that emotional attachment. If you have to get a therapist, hey, this is okay. I've had many therapists. I can probably put you in touch with one, okay? Hire an agent who's worthy of your business. Did you know there's 2 million active real estate agents in the United States? And a lot of people have their license and they just don't do anything with it. You know, not everybody is active. So there's 2 million active agents in the U.S., but people that are actually selling the product and actually making things happen. So you want to make sure that you look for an agent that has a good track record and is a good match for you. And here's a really good example that I've had to deal with is that, there were some folks that, and I've had this conversation a lot where I priced homes in Florida, Raleigh, Charlotte, Roanoke, and Richmond. And I would say to them, what did your agent say to you about the house? I mean, you had an open house. What did the agent say? Oh, the agent didn't tell me anything. The first thing I'm going to do when I have an open house for you is I'm going to ask everybody that has walked through that house what they thought about it. You know, what did you like? What did you not like about it? So make sure you have an agent that communicates well with you, and also is going to get you the best bang for your buck, that can price your home well, that has experience. The last 4 homes that I have listed, have gone in 24 hours a day, 13 days, quickly. Your home is the first thing on my mind. If it's not selling, then I'm getting upset. Homes sell faster for more money when you've got a good agent, and also it's priced well too. So everybody's got to be thinking realistically, all right? Three, work through the financials. If you're confident about the decision to sell your house, then the next step is to make sure you're in a strong financial position to do so. As I mentioned on one of my recent podcasts, make sure you've sat down with your lender, you've spoken with your wife, hey, we can afford this payment and this is what we can do. If not, you could be in big trouble. But everybody it's kind of like having a budget. Dave Ramsey says, hey, have this budget that you can work with. Know that this is what you can afford. If somebody lists a property but they don't go over those numbers, and by the time you get into escrow, you'll figure out just how expensive it really is to sell a house, because it can be expensive to sell your home because you're sitting there and time is of the essence. And what do I mean by that is that the longer your house sits there, the longer you're losing out on others. You may not be in the house, just different things to take into consideration. The other thing too that I want to bring to light is that 6% of your proceeds are going to go to the agent. 3% is going to go to me for selling it. And then you got your buyer's agent too, unless I do it all for you, which does take place as well. And make sure that you slow your roll on the prep work. According to a recent survey taken in the United States, 30% of first-time and repeat sellers say they wish they'd given themselves more time to get their house ready for the market. And I remember when my wife told me, you need to get this house listed in 12 hours, I was thinking to myself, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? I mean, because we had already found a house we wanted to put an offer on, and I didn't have a lot of time. And this is a true story. I had to stage each room for pictures. So I had to go into one room, pull all the clutter out of there, the clothes, any furniture I didn't want, put it in another room, take pictures. It took a couple hours to take pictures, make sure things look clean. That's your first thing you want to do, is make sure this house looks good, nice and tight inside. But if you have more time, you just feel a little bit more relaxed, right? Remember that. That's a decent amount of homeowners, and once your house goes up for sale, it'll start racking up what's called days on the market. And the longer your home sits, the more buyers will start to wonder if something's wrong with it or why it hasn't sold. Okay, so we don't want this thing to sit on the market very long. We want it to rock and roll and get out there. Once it hits the MLS, we want people showing it, that open house. You want to list that towards the end of the week, midweek, Wednesday, Thursday, so all the other agents can start looking at it and talking about it. Hey man, check this house out. Look at this. And then have that open house on Sunday and start getting offers. And you want to make sure your agent's asking questions. What do you like about this? Have you looked at anything else? Taking notes. The good news is that home prep doesn't have to call for massive renovations. Okay. Your home prep too, besides just the pictures, if you have some time, gives you a chance to paint the bathroom, put some tile down in the kitchen, maybe fix the loose wood on the back deck, or paint outside of the home, or do some stuff to the basement, make it look more presentable. And again, of course, your peace of mind comes into play here, helping you feel more relaxed. Here are some other simple and cost-effective home prep ideas. Neutralize any odors. Cats and dogs smell. Now, here's the deal about this, is when you're living with that smell, you don't smell it, but if I walk into your house, I can pick out cat pee like that. I mean, like, boom. I can tell, and people don't like it. It's gonna be one of the reasons your home doesn't sell if it smells like cat pee. So you want to make sure that's gone. Organize the closets. Use apps like Let Go, OfferUp, Facebook Marketplace to get rid of your junk. I did that as well. I had this huge desk. It weighed about 300 pounds. I hadn't used in 400 years. I just put it on Facebook Marketplace. I tried to sell it for $20. I was like, heck, I'm just going to give this thing away for free because I can't even move it to the curb by myself. You're listening to the Roanoke Real Estate Podcast. I'm your host, Frazier Hughes, licensed realtor in the state of Virginia, and also focus on curb appeal. One of my recent clients that I work with talked about, hey, Frazier, the mulch is on the way. So get that fresh mulch down in front of the house before you show it. It's going to make people feel really good before they walk inside. The first thing is make sure it looks good because the inside is going to sell the house. 76% of the top real estate agents in the country say improving curb appeal is the number one thing a homeowner can do to boost the marketability of their home. 94% of agents say curb appeal adds to the dollar value as the sale as well, because you want to. It's like going on a date, right? You want to make sure your shirt is ironed. You want to make sure you smell good. Your hair looks good. Your face. You have on some makeup, lipstick. You know what I'm saying. You want to make sure as you're showing your home, it looks nice and clean on the outside. Okay. Get rid of dirt, grime, cobwebs. Trim the trees and the shrubs. 85% of agents say to do that. The mulch is a big thing too. 71% of agents throughout the country say a fresh coat of paint, which I mentioned, on the front door of the house is going to help you. All right. Another thing you can do as well to get your home sold is to stage the home. And I've got folks that can do everything that I've just mentioned. I've got a tree service. I've got a guy that can do anything in your house, to fixing it, painting it, anything, you name it, plumbing. And then I have a friend by the name of John that stages homes. And what is staging a home? Well, they take your bedroom that has furniture that looks okay, and they bring in furniture that looks really good. And they also help you to organize it to take really good pictures. You don't have to necessarily do this, but 67% of agents say staging a home increases the sale price of a home to some extent. Another way to stage your home is how I staged a home that I recently sold, is to clear out the clutter in one room. So I'm looking around the room I'm in right now. I'm going to clear all the books and the backpack off of this chair. I'm going to take the box over in the corner, and then the dog crate and this lamp over in the corner out of this room before I take a picture. How do you stage the kitchen? Well, professional photographers will tell you, clean everything off of the kitchen shelves, or actually on the kitchen counters rather, and make sure it's totally clear in that kitchen before you take a picture. This is a good example of staging your home. Also, go ahead and get ahead of the repair requests with a pre-listing inspection, because when your house has an offer made on it, people that are smart are going to want a home inspection. This is the key, and then they're going to pick your house apart and say, we want this done. We want the back window painted. We want to have the leak under the garbage disposal fixed. We want the light switch in the dining room replaced. Make sure you have all these things done before you list your home, so then that way it's not getting picked apart. Photos are crucial. I mentioned these here a few moments ago. Crush your listing with great photos. And everybody's doing these brand new HDR enhanced photos. And if it's necessary, I don't think all properties need this, but bringing a drone out to your house can really give it a great effect. The other thing is like my friend Mac says at Keller Williams, is that you don't want to enhance the photos too much to where the house doesn't look realistic. So what I mean by that is that when they step into it, like, hey, wait, the house didn't look like this in the photos. This isn't very nice. So you want to make sure it matches the home to some extent, right? And you can get photos done for it's really inexpensive to get really good photos done, and it's well worth it in order to sell your home. And it's just as true for, I did this for a $120,000 house. I took a drone shot of it. I'm the only person that has done a drone of a house in this area. And then I had another house where I didn't think it needed a drone. And then I had a more expensive house where I brought in a drone. It really depends on the home in the area. But you all can work on this together, and make a good realtor will help you make that decision. And that's where I come into play as well. Also, set a well-researched competitive price. Make sure your price is competitive. Make sure that it's realistic, because you want your home to sell. That's one of the reasons a home doesn't sell. And the longer it sits on the market, the more we're going to have problems, right? The more people are going to start thinking to themselves, it's either the price or the condition. What I did with a house that I most recently priced was I pulled some comps, and any realtor can do a CMA, which is called a comparative market analysis. I pulled comps of homes that three that had sold, three that were listed and, currently listed, and then pending homes. And then I drove the neighborhood and I looked at a couple houses that had sold. And I looked at houses that had sold recently, and I compared them to my house, and I said, if this house can pull then this amount of money, then I'm definitely going to get more for the house I'm listing. And I did. I did. So this is really important. This is where it comes into the fact of